Which is better, durian in Indonesia or Malaysia? That's what we're gonna find out. From Georgetown, Penang. I am so excited to be here. That's because Georgetown is known as one of the most beautiful cities in Malaysia, also the home of fantastic street art, but most importantly, it's home to what some say is the best food in all of Asia. We have a big day planned ahead of us, a lot to eat, a lot to see. There's going to be a lot of walking, but most importantly, we need to go for breakfast. All right, I feel like we're starting off breakfast with a bang. We're having Char Koay Kak. It is a dish you can only really find in Penang, very local, very traditional. And this stall right here has been serving it for over 40 years. In fact, the daughter has taken over for her father. And the pan here is so hot. She actually wears not only a mask, but also eye protection. Just shooting it myself, I found that the smoke was getting in my eyes and the heat is intense. If you're from Asia, you might know about wok hei. And what it is that steaming hot pan up to 300 Celsius. It gets so hot, it actually imparts flavor onto the food. Now, this is a unique dish. What it is we have these rice cakes. It's rice and corn flour that is steamed and then stir-fried. We also have some egg in here, some bean sprouts. There are a number of different sauces. Usually there's some seafood in here and maybe some other protein. This place is so popular, I'm sure this recipe is a secret. You get that charcoal, like just singed pan flavor. A little bit of heat, not too much. They do ask you how spicy you want it. I like a little bit of spice, but not too much that I can't taste the food. Now, if you come here, they have no seating, but thankfully we've got this kopitiam, one of the oldest in the city, next door. So you come here and you get a drink and they'll let you sit here. But I also have to say, because we've been here a number of days, they also have food here. So they have this egg butter toast. It's also fantastic. So come here, get a nice coffee, get the toast, get some of this, and this is the perfect way to start the day in Penang. Now, if you're coming to this region, what's interesting is there is Penang, the province, Penang, the island, and then the largest city in all of it is Georgetown. This was founded over 200 years ago by the British who invaded / colonized, and they chose Georgetown, Penang, for its strategic trading area, very important during those times. But this is the first city I've really seen that has an equal influence of so many different places. So you will see the Malay culture, Malay businesses, Malay food. Next to it, you will see Chinese, which from southern China, people came down to work here. And then you're also going to see a third one, which is from India. And that's because India also invaded by the British. And so you have a really interesting mix of architecture, but also businesses that still exist today. I don't really think you see that mix anywhere else that's so equal in all of Malaysia. Here, it's really quite different. Now, I've noticed in Malaysia, there is this trend to do street art in a different way. It reflects the history, the culture of each city. And I actually think that it started that tradition here in Georgetown. So we're heading to a spot where there's supposed to be lots. And I got a good tip from a friend. She sent me a link to where you can actually get the Google Maps of the different street art, because it's a 5-kilometer walk if you want to do the whole thing, or 2 kilometers if you just want to check out a couple of the places. And then if you're like us, you can just kind of wander and then hit up the most famous spots. But I have to say, there's art here everywhere. It's fantastic. You cannot miss it. A year after Georgetown was named a UNESCO Heritage Site, the city launched its first art project called Making Georgetown, with cartoon steel rod sculptures. It's my favorite because each shares a piece of history. And since then, the city has commissioned work from both international and Malaysian artists to reflect the history and culture of Penang. So one of the cool things about the street art here is that it does reflect the culture and tradition of Georgetown, and they do it with a bit of modern touch. So here you have this piece of ironwork, but then also you have a QR code to tell you exactly what it is. So if you've got a phone, you can admire it, but also learn a little bit about the history behind it and why right now this is called Cannon Street. This one is my favorite. So nasi kandar originated from Tamil Muslim hawking home-cooked curry dishes and rice from containers slung on both ends of a kandar, which is a wooden stick. I wondered where nasi kandar came from, and I thought it had to be India. There we go, Tamil Muslims and their curry. Fantastic. Now there's nothing like a post-breakfast, pre-lunch snack. And we've heard that Penang is actually home to some of the best durian. Now, I don't know if that's true. I'm not a durian connoisseur, but I'm with someone that is. All that I know is that I like the yellow durian, which is a little bit fruity, and the white durian, I don't know about that. Now this stop is for Alan. We're at Take Durian stall. Durian is a very sharp kind of fruit here that is beloved in Asia. And I think it's one of those things that if you didn't grow up with it, it's kind of hard to eat. But I have learned if you try durian once and you don't like it, you should keep trying it. I had durian in West Sumatra, and I learned there that actually I prefer the yellow kind, which is a little bit sweeter. The whiter kind is creamier and a little bit funkier. It almost tastes like you're eating someone's sock. The nice thing about this place is they also provide these for your hands. Now when we got in, we saw a group of friends eating them, and now there's a couple beside us that's eating them, and that's because you have to buy the entire durian. Prices are by the pound. Some are very rare. You can get the red prawn durian, so it's like red on the outside, and then you can also get a lot of different ones. Alan chose the susu because it's what he knows from Indonesia, but also it was the cheapest. I said he could go big, but actually you could spend a lot of money on durian here. You gotta smell it first. It smells sweet. It smells pretty good. I like it. I definitely like the yellow kind. If you want to try durian and you don't think you can do it, try it in a pastry. I find it brings out the sweetness, the less of the funkiness. But all over Asia, you will see signs that say no durian, and that's because it's supposed to smell. But actually, this smells really good.
This is my first time to try durian in another country.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, strong.
Uh-oh.
I mean, tasty.
Tasty.
Yeah.
Do you think this is better than in Indonesia?
Indonesia is better,
Indonesia's better.
but this one is different.
Now, although Alan has said that he prefers the Indonesian durian, he did really like this one, and he said it had a stronger, more pungent flavor and enjoyed that, but he needed a drink. So he went across the street to get ice limau, which is a limeade and my favorite drink in all of Malaysia. I have it at least once a day. Now, Penang became a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2008, and so I think two things happened here to reflect that. One, you can't smoke in basically any restaurant. There are tons of signs, which I love. But two, if you want a plastic bag in stores, they actually charge you 1 Malaysian ringgit, which is about 25 cents. So
that's not cheap. But what I have noticed is they don't want plastic bags, but they have no problem with the straws. So everywhere we go, people give us straws. I didn't realize this was going to come in a plastic bag, but it was 2 ice cream out in bags, tied up in plastic with a plastic straw, and then the 2 bags were put into another plastic bag. In all of Malaysia, I've never been anywhere where there was automatically a straw with every single drink, but it really reminded me like I need to get back on top of my game, bring my metal straw everywhere, otherwise I feel so bad about this plastic bag. So please bring your own straw if you need a straw. Alan doesn't even use a straw. With this bag, you kind of do need a straw, but with drinks, do adults really need straws anymore? I don't. We did that. I feel like I'm starting to appreciate durian more and more that I have it, but I will say this, the one thing I don't like, man, after you eat durian, you always get the durian burps, and it's not good going back up. Not good. Woo. So next up, that was a snack. We're gonna go for lunch. It's a spot that serves probably one of the most iconic Penang dishes, one of the things that you definitely have to eat when you're here. There's just so much food to eat that this trip, because we know we'll be back, we're going to try to eat like the iconic foods of Penang. I've gone on the record many times in saying that I don't believe you need to wait in line for food, but I am somewhere worth waiting in line. And I'm not waiting in line at all. I got Alan to go do it while I secured us a seat. We're at Siam Road, Char Koay Kak. Now, Char Koay Kak just simply means what it is. Char is stir-fried and Koay Kak is a rice noodle. It's a little bit thicker than linguine or fettuccine, and it's very famous here in Penang. And this spot on Siam Road actually started as a food stall. Uncle is now in his early 80s. But as he's gotten older, he's still here, but his son is out front. And while Alan is waiting for our food, I thought I would try something new here that you might be interested in. This is a nutmeg drink. Now, nutmeg, it's like cinnamon, star anise. You would think it's in a pumpkin pie, but actually, it's also a fruit. But you can also get it around the Caribbean, you can get it everywhere, but I've never seen it as a drink. I've seen it pickled, I've seen it used many different ways, but never as a drink. This is supposed to be very refreshing. Oh, wow. That does not at all taste like nutmeg. It's like a lychee kind of flavor. I would say kind of in the lychee, rambutan, that kind of area. All right, so Alan has already given it 2 thumbs up. He said he loves that it's cooked over charcoal, that it really gives it a lot of flavor. And actually here in Penang, I've noticed that they refer to a lot of things as wok hei. And in Chinese, it's the flavor that cooking in a wok is. And so he said different than Indonesian Koay Kak, and then also I've heard it's different than Singaporean Koay Kak, which is darker and a little bit sweeter. We've got some garlic chives in here, shrimp. I love these noodles. You can definitely taste that charcoal. It has like the smokiness to it. I think I know what people are saying now when they say the wok hei. Like you get this smoky, deep flavor. I thought this wasn't very much, but actually, this isn't enough. This is really good. They say you haven't been to Penang until you've had Char Koay Kak. I'm starting to understand this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Indonesia, I love you. But in Penang, the Koay Kak is better. What a meal! That was so good. I rarely eat all of my plate. Usually, Alan and I share because we're trying several things during a day. But in this case, I kind of had a feeling it was going to be great just because so many locals said they argue over the best, but really this always comes out on top. And it was so good. So when we took that durian to go, it was 2 big containers, and as I said, it smells. So you can't just bring it in anywhere, and we didn't think we'd be able to put it in our hotel fridge. Alan said, hey, let's give one of these to someone. We'll know who it should be along the way. And so we gave it to that man who seemed very sweet and I think definitely appreciated the durian. And so now we have one left as an afternoon treat.
All right, so I told Alan it's so hot, let's go somewhere inside where we can get a nice refreshing treat with air conditioning. And then we got here, the Penang Famous Cendol, and it's a stall. I forgot it was a stall, it wasn't actually an actual restaurant, but they do have restaurants if you need to go inside, just not this one. They keep this original one, even though they have multiple locations, multiple storefronts. Now, cendol exists in Malaysia, but also Indonesia, very common. They have a number of different desserts like this where it's ice, coconut milk, a bunch of jellied flavored things, and beans for some reason, I don't know. In this case, we've got coconut milk, we've got some shaved ice, they have some palm sugar, and then we have these thin, green, worm-like noodles that are made out of rice, and then some red bean. It's not too sweet at all. It's actually quite nice. It's like a nice coconut drink, very cold from that shaved ice, which they are just cranking out. I don't need the jelly or the beans. I actually just like the coconut milk with a little bit of palm sugar in it. And I think we could be in trouble heading back to Indonesia because Alan said he likes this better than in Indonesia. You might not be let back into the country. Jetties are a series of homes that are built on stilts in the water, and it's a really interesting story because the Chinese came to this area to work in the 19th century, and this area of Malaysia, the boats, the big boats couldn't come all the way in, and so the people who lived here originally, they would actually go out in small boats and get the supplies and the things that were coming in. For the most part, they were self-sufficient, which is pretty incredible, but they didn't have electricity or water until 1957. Now, this is part of the World Heritage Site, which is good news. It means it's a protected area because they say the people who lived in the jetties lived there until they had enough money to move on. But this is a really important piece of history, and a lot of people who live there today are very proud of it. Because it's UNESCO protected, it means that it won't be torn down like another jetty in the area, which is also an important historic area. We're gonna go check it out. There are 6 jetties that are standing there today. Each jetty is named after a clan of people who came here, but you're welcome to visit all of them, I believe between 9 a.m. 9 p.m. After that, you know, these people live there, so go within the hours that they've stated because people do live there. All right, so this was a good one to start with, Chu Jetty, but you can see the other ones, and we've heard that both Tan and Lee are interesting in different ways. You can also see the jetties, so I think these are the Lee jetties. And this one, yes, these are the Chu jetties. And then I think on the other side, there are a number more. There were 7, I think there were 11 at one point, then 7, and then just 1 fell recently. It's absolutely beautiful here, well worth a walk even in the sun. But I think we might need to get something cool because it's hot. We've been walking around all over the city all day. We need a little break, but we'll join you in a couple of hours because there's one last dish that's traditional Penang dish that's different from even in Kuala Lumpur that I want to try, and it's right on the esplanade. So that seems like a nice place to end the day with the sunset. I'm so excited to share this last dish of the day with you because it is a dish specific to Penang, and it's Penang Rojak. Now, you might have heard of Rojak before. It's very common in Singapore. It's very common in Malaysia, and it's actually from Indonesia. It's been served there for hundreds of years. But the recipe changes everywhere you go. So Indonesia has 17,000 islands, so there are at least 17,000 different versions. Each family has its own. Here in Malaysia, you have that influence of the Malay and the Chinese, the Southern Chinese who came down here. And then you've also got Singapore. Now, this looks like that it's a fruit salad with a spicy sauce, but it's not vegetarian. So it has fruit in it, it has cucumber in it, it also has cuttlefish in it, and it's in a fermented shrimp paste sauce. Ours, it looks like, also has an octopus in it, but you're looking at having seafood in this as well. So if you don't eat seafood, you can't have this. The sauce itself is a tamarind, fermented shrimp paste, chili, lime, and palm sugar. But as I said, everyone does it a little bit different. It can be very spicy, it can not be spicy at all, it can have lots of different fruit in it. Normally, I would not like to cover up all of this delicious fresh fruit, but I really do love rujak, or here, rojak. And that's because you just get to eat so much. It's like spicy, sweet, and then you've got the freshness of the fruit. This one, so good. Now, it doesn't taste fishy at all. It's almost like a molassesy, a little bit of heat, and a little bit of lime. It's really, really good, very light. This is a great way to end the day. This fruit, good company, fantastic view here. This is definitely a local spot. I don't see any other tourists here, at least Western tourists. And we got here at 5:45, and we thought we'd be first, but we weren't. We were third in line, and right at 6 o'clock, there was a bigger line, and then the orders coming in from food delivery services. So this is a really popular spot. It's known to have the best rojak, and different than what you will find in other cities in Malaysia. So I think it's definitely worth coming down. It's just a nice way to end the day. But my time here on Penang Island is not coming to an end, because tomorrow we're headed to the beach. We'll spend a little bit of time at the beach, but the reason we're going there is because we've heard it has a great night market. So I'll see you then.
Join my Patreon community for more behind the scenes and exclusive content you won't find elsewhere. You can also find me on Instagram, and be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. All of these things make my day. Thank you so much for your support.